welcome back to another episode of Meg Talk. A few weeks ago, we put out the question to you to let us know what some of the hot issues are in your classroom. After an overwhelming response, today's episode is about reading difficulties within the early years. Meg 2 has this story.
On last week's show, we asked you to let us know what some of the different approaches your school uses with reading. We totaled them up and had a clear top 2. Many schools were advocates of the whole learning approach, while others swore by the phonics approach. So, what's the difference? And what does this evidence-based research tell us?
Study.com describes this whole language approach encourages students to mostly read by sight and prediction rather than sounding out words. The whole language approach ensures children make sense of skills used in reading and writing rather than memorising letter sounds and symbols. The Australian Department of Education defined the phonics approach as explicit instruction in simple sound correspondence. This explicit instruction is how to read aloud a word that has never been seen before by using knowledge of the relationship between letters and sounds. Reading is essentially two complementary processes, learning how to decode print and understand what print means. We suggest an integrated approach to reading instruction is essential. The National Educational Psychologist Service agrees an integrated approach to literacy learning engages students in literacy experiences that are a balance of varied phonic and meaning-based activities.
Every child is different, and every child's needs will be too. Not one sole approach to teaching reading is suitable for your students. Using an integrated approach to teaching reading in your classroom will help to ensure all students are being catered for. The best approach is finding out what meets the individual student's needs. Therefore, teachers need to ensure they have a comprehensive knowledge base of reading development in the early years.
It is important for teachers to monitor, observe, and reflect on each child's reading. There are common traits that some students who experience difficulty with reading will display, including having difficulty remembering high-frequency words, decoding, fluency, and poor phonemic awareness.
It is important for teachers to intervene and try to target the root of the cause of the reading difficulty. Struggling readers genuinely have difficulties in multiple areas of reading, as they all link to one another. Identifying a student who requires more help in the classroom is a vital tool to help you differentiate for them to be successful.
To ensure your reading approach is suitable for all your students' needs, Spelled Queensland recommends assessments to identify learning strengths and weaknesses to evaluate whether an identifiable learning disability exists. Formal diagnostic testing can be used to investigate phonological awareness, comprehension, sequencing, and decoding.
Once this evidence is recorded and collected, you may have to look at your reading approach and evaluate if it is the best approach for this particular student. You may also seek help from your school's support literacy and numeracy teacher. If a student is struggling with the formal and informal testing provided within class, it is vital to ensure they are provided with extra support. For a student who may have suspected reading difficulties, there are a range of strategies and techniques that can be put in place to ensure they receive as much guidance as possible. These examples include:
create a class culture that positively fosters reading motivation. A technique to do this is to create a quiet reading corner in the classroom and positively reinforce reading within the classroom as a reward. Always allow a suitable amount of time for reading and encourage home reading by sending books home each night at the student's level. Direct explicit instruction of decoding skills may help to improve word recognition and decoding skills. For some students, this instruction may need to be differentiated and more scaffolded during class. You may like to use visuals and funny animal names to assist students to remember decoding skills. For example, chunky monkey is chunking parts of the word, and skippy frog is skipping over the unknown words and read to the end of the sentence. As teachers, we have an obligation that is clearly stated in the Australian Curriculum and Reporting Authority to ensure all students receive high-quality curriculum excellence and equity in their education. Teachers are able to use these differentiation strategies in conjunction with the ACARA curriculum. The Melbourne Declaration states the Australian Government, in collaboration with schools across Australia, will promote equity and inclusivity in our schools.
Schools are striving towards a discrimination-free learning environment where no child is at a disadvantage. Evidently, not only is this our responsibility as educators, but also what we should strive to achieve for our students.
There is no one cure or reading approach for students with reading difficulties. By providing a positive reading culture, quality reading opportunities, and explicit instruction in an integrated approach to reading, students with reading difficulties will improve their literacy. From all of us here at Meg Talk, we'd like to extend a huge thank you for your continuing support at your professional development days.